You know, I had always heard that Charles Manson had ties to Kentucky. I never really thought it was true. I had heard things like that years ago and growing up, and I thought it was just part of, you know, people just talking and trying to say things that weren't true and, I don't know, try to scare people. I have no idea, but in my research, I have come to find out it's true. So today we are in Catlettsburg Cemetery in Catlettsburg, Kentucky, walking through the cemetery here, and we are actually on our way to find the grave. I'm not sure where it's at, and honestly this place is deceptively large. I didn't really think that this cemetery was as big as it is. It is beautiful up here. We're on top of a hill, as a lot of cemeteries are in Kentucky, and we're going to look around, maybe take a look at some of the sites in the cemetery. If I see anything of interest, we'll take a look at that. Don't really know how long it's going to take me to find it because I have no idea where it is. I'm looking, and we'll see what we can find. But Catlettsburg, Kentucky. So here's what we're looking for. Around the time Charles Manson was about, I believe, 4 years old, his mother brought a paternity suit. Now you can look it up. They were not referred to as paternity suits. They were referred to as a different type of suit, and it was pretty offensive, so I'm not going to say it. But against a man named Colonel Walker Scott. Now, Colonel is actually his first name. From what I can tell, he was definitely not a colonel. And based on some of the records I've seen, not a great guy in general. So I don't know if that had anything to do with how his son's life turned out. But anyway, a suit was brought against Colonel Walker Scott, and a judge actually declared him, apparently there was enough evidence there, actually declared him as Charles Manson's biological father. And I think back in those days he was ordered to pay a sum of support, like $5 a month. It was something ridiculously low. But yeah, we are in Catlettsburg, Kentucky, which is close to a little larger city down the road, Ashland, Kentucky. And this is the final resting place of Charles Manson's father. Now, he was born in Pikeville, which Pikeville is about 2 hours to the south from where we are. He was born in Pikeville. Not exactly sure how he came to be here, but his final resting place is in Catlettsburg, Kentucky. We're walking through Catlettsburg Cemetery. We'll take a look at some of the sites up here, show you all some of the landscape, and hopefully we will be able to find his grave. As with a lot of Kentucky cemeteries, and I've mentioned this several times, we are on top of a hill, but you can see it's beautiful. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful up here. A beautiful place for a cemetery. And you can see on top of the hill, we kind of overlook the very small city of Catlettsburg. But so we're going to start up here and start making our way down this hill, and we'll just see what we can find. You know, as far as my channel goes, I prefer to do the documentary style videos, and that's just what I like to do. But every now and then I do like to put the microphone on and just go for a walk in the cemetery. And I'm glad to be able to bring you all on this one today, because there's going to be a lot of me just walking around, maybe not all on video, but for me today, because I don't know where he's buried, and I can't find anything anywhere that would show me where that's at. Show you all the American flag here. For all of our faults, we are still a very patriotic people here in Kentucky. But you can see here, I just want to show you all some of the age. And if I see any older stones on my way to find his grave, we'll definitely look at those. But you can just see here, it's pretty up here. I mean, very picturesque. A lot of wind, so I don't know how much of that I'm going to have to try to take out in the editing process. Just not exactly sure, but we will we'll work on that on the other side of things here. But you can just see beautiful, beautiful area. I say this all the time, and this is just a perfect example. You never know what you are going to find when you go to a cemetery. I could probably make this into its own video, but I'm just going to go ahead and share it here today. Here lies James H. McCoy. I have visited several of the Hatfield-McCoy cemeteries and locations. Oldest living son of Randall and Sarah. Randall was the patriarch of the McCoy family, the leader in that feud, last living McCoy feudist before passing away in 1929. He was a peacemaker in the feud and tried to talk Frank Phillips out of killing Jim Vance and Bill Dempsey. In 1928, James and Tennis Hatfield, youngest son of Devil Anse, met in Pikeville, Kentucky and called a formal truce between the families. So James McCoy, one of the sons. Let's see what this says on the back. Looks like this was put up by the Kentucky Department of Highways. Here lies Floyd McCoy, son of Randall and Sarah, had dinner with his brothers Tolbert, Farmer, and Randolph Jr. after their arrest for stabbing and shooting Ellison Hatfield in 1882. The next day, Floyd witnessed his brothers being captured by Wall Hatfield and taken to West Virginia. Wall said if Ellison died, McCoy's brothers would be killed. A lot of Hatfield-McCoy history, but that's further to the south of us, so we don't see that much here. But Floyd McCoy, yeah, son of Randall McCoy. And let's just get back here and look at his grave. Floyd McCoy, February 14th, 1858. I am wondering if that's the original headstone right there. It probably is. That would be my guess. But yeah, just a neat find on our way to find the grave of Charles Manson's father here in Catlettsburg Cemetery. So yeah, this is great. I'm so glad to be able to find this. Just a very, very neat piece of history that we were able to find here today. You know, this caught my eye here. Charles Stone. Look at this. This is, it is so tough to see that kind of stuff here. Charles U. Stone, 1928 to 1937. Just a little guy here. Wow. You know, when I see stuff like this, I always like to pay my respects if I can. That is just so sad. I say this all the time. These stones, for the most part, represent the worst day of somebody's life. It's a little chilly today here in Kentucky. Definitely the weather's starting to change. Jeannie Marie Pack. Those graves are just hard to see. Okay, so I want to show you where we are in relation. If you can see that historical marker up there for James and Floyd McCoy, I am just going to turn around this way, and I started seeing some Scotts, which is who I am here looking for. Started seeing some of the Scott family, and sure enough, here it is, the grave. Colonel W. Scott. And like I said, Colonel was not, that's a given name. That's not a title in this case. Although I heard that he did try to use his name, Colonel, you know, to try to catch some breaks, but apparently I had read that he had married someone else, and that marriage ended in divorce, citing basically his recklessness. You can take that however you will. There's just several things that fall into that category, but the W stands for Walker. From what I read, his name was actually Colonel Walker Henderson Scott, 1910 to 1954. He was only 44 when he died, and from what I read, he had a battle, apparently a pretty long battle with cirrhosis of the liver. But a judge declared him, and don't know what the evidence was, but apparently it was compelling enough to be able to put the fatherhood claim of Charles Manson into effect. He was declared the father by a judge. And I'm not here to look into all the Manson stuff. I'm just not doing it. That's not what I'm here to do today. I'm here today just to find his grave, show you all where it is, what it looks like, and tell a little bit about his story, Colonel W. Scott. So there it is. And to give you a little context, here's where we are. Actually, that flag that I showed you all a little earlier is just right there. I was really very fortunate to find this because this could have taken a whole lot longer than it did. Okay, so Colonel W. Scott, visiting his grave today, making my way back to the car on this very, very beautiful yet chilly day here in northeast Kentucky in Catlettsburg. So glad to be able to bring you this visit and all the others that I bring you. You know, whether it's a famous grave, I guess in this case you would say the infamous, someone you've never heard of, or just taking a little cemetery walk together. All of my videos are 100% cemetery related, WIT docs. I like to do little short documentaries on those that I visit, and in this case, more of just a visit with you as we visited the grave of the man that the judge said was Charles Manson's dad. I'm going to leave links down in the description where you can find me. I've got Facebook, Instagram, my merchandise, different places you can connect with me. And thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe and please ring that little bell right beside of it. That will let you know when I have new videos out. So once again, from Catlettsburg, Kentucky, at Catlettsburg Cemetery, I will see you again soon.